Good morning, ULV. Welcome to the 31st day of January. We're going to get some powdery white stuff later today, I understand. A few inches of global warming. Let's take that anticipation into our prelude, I Am Love. You all know how I spend a great deal of time refining and perfecting the finely tuned high-performance vehicle with hand-sewn leather upholstery, chrome wheel covers, and vinyl landau roof that is my Sunday greeting. But sometimes, I just like to dive into the junkyard, grab some pick-and-pull parts, some rusty leaf springs, and an old lumpy bench seat, and create the tractor engine-driven go-kart that is my opening prayer. And if you could see the faces of the team, actually that would be amazing since we're all wearing masks in here. But humor seems to be my calling, and I think I've reasoned why. To turn a serious frown upside down brings a person into the moment. And when you're going to pray, you need to be in the moment. So let's take that into our opening prayer. Dear Spirit, thank you for this fine day and yet another opportunity to gather together as a community your community. In these uncertain times, remind us that darkness is not a real thing. It is only the absence of light, and we are the light. As Amanda Gorman wrote, there is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. Help us be brave enough to be it, and so it is. Join me now for a little more energetic opening song, if I can get my fingers to work. Swing Wide the Doors. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Ring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, about lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn of humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, about lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Wide the doors of this heart of mine. Well, according to the script, I welcome you again. Welcome to ULV. My name is Mark. Doesn't have a last name, but it's Utermoser. I am delighted to be assisting Charley Thweatt this morning. We are grateful Spirit has led you here through Facebook Live. Our affirmative statements express our unity denominational statement of belief, as well as the vision and mission of ULV. As I introduce each of our affirmative statements, I invite you to consider joining me in speaking the statements aloud. We hope you also share in the vision and mission of this ministry. What unity believes: there is one presence, one power, one activity in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence. The vision ULV holds for the world. We co-create an awakened world of peace, harmony, and abundance, and the mission that is ours to do. United in love, we provide a positive environment for all people to discover and express their spiritual nature. And now, Tom Eltringham will read the Daily Word. Spoiler alert. That's Charley. I don't know if I'm live.
Yes, I can hear you, Mark.
Okay. Apparently now I'm Tom Eltringham. I'm trying to get to January 31st. I got it. And the daily word is now. I find my power in this very moment. There is power in this very moment. Yesterday is past and tomorrow is not yet here. There is only this moment. How all this ties together for me is today is amazing. There is only this moment, ripe with promise and potential, ready for me to live into it fully. Through my many divine gifts, everything I need to get started is within me. I need not wait for the perfect moment to arrive, because there is no time more perfect than now, and no place more perfect than here. Procrastination has no place in my life. I fritter away my energy when I find reasons not to get started, losing my zeal and focus and inviting frustration into my life. Today I claim the power of the present and say, this is the day I begin. Now is the time to begin, to serve, to forgive, to create, and to love. See, now is the acceptable time. See, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2. And after that fine reading, we will sing our congregational song, Get Ready, My Soul. I'm diving in, get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. And now we welcome back one of our good friends from Connecticut, Charley Thweatt.
Thank you, Reverend Mark. Mark, you're great. You're amazing. I want to acknowledge you, Mark, for a few things. One, I recognize your Colbert stylings. You're leading into your time of prayer. That's beautiful, like he does Meanwhile that way. I also loved your a few inches of global warming is coming later today. Hysterical. So thank you, Mark. So I'm coming to you live from Norwalk, Connecticut, and we will get your snow a few hours later. So I want to start with a little time of meditation. This song is, the words are, I remember my center. So I hope you'll sing those words with me. I remember my center. Let's close our eyes and we'll sing this a little bit. We'll go into silence at the end. Let it fade, and we'll just sit in that beingness, remembering our center, just tuning into that core of who we are. And then I'll lead you through a short guided meditation, okay? So let's close our eyes. I remember my center. I remember my center. I remember my center. I remember my center. Sing with me. I remember my center. I remember my center. I remember my center. I remember my center, and we're all one. Oh, remember my center. I remember my center. I remember my center. And I love you. And I am you. I remember my center. 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 Let's take a deep breath in. Remember our daily word for today, now. Coming to that now moment. Remembering who we are at our core as spirit. I remember my center. It's so beautiful feeling that in the silence. I remember who I am as spirit. I remember who I am as light. I remember my center. And not just now, but every moment. I remember my center. I remember my center when I'm talking to a friend, when I'm having a meal, when I'm checking my email. I stay in that now moment of who I am. Take a deep breath in as we remember the spirit we are. We stay awake to that. Awake. Awake. I remember. I remember. Let's breathe that in and let our eyes open. want to sing a song for you that's I just finished last week. And this is about staying awake too. And this song it really came when I was standing out under a bright, starry night, in the dark with stars everywhere. And sometimes we're looking at stars and we think about, oh, there's a constellation, like the Big Dipper. Maybe we forget it's not all in one plane. Like one of those stars is here, another one's 4 times farther away. Just there's that depth that we're living in that maybe we don't always fully stay awake to. And so this song is about both how big it is out there and how big it is in here, in the heart of who we are. Did you ever notice how big it is out there? Did you ever look with one long-reaching stare out through the stars, out through the stars, so big out there, so big out there, so big out there, so big out there. And life will bring you to the edge of all you've ever known. And when you find your place in all of this, make it your own. Did you ever notice how big it is in here? Did you ever look with one long-reaching stare into the heart of who we are, of who we are, into the heart of who we are, of who we are. And tell me why you think that you can't see this all around. 'Cause there's a way to see beyond the things that you have found. Did you ever notice how big it is out there? Did you ever look with one long-reaching stare out through the stars, out through the stars, so big out there, so big out there, into the heart of who we are, 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 of who we are. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. All right. Well, here we are. It's so good to be back with you guys. I remember being in your sanctuary not terribly long ago and having fun with a concert and all sorts of great people. My title is this morning is for my talk is The Bows of Our Boats. Like the front of the boat, the bows of our boats. And this is about staying present and in the moment. And the daily word for today is perfect. It couldn't be any more perfect. So I love starting with the jokes. I have a new joke for you. And this is about these two old codgers, these two guys who are driving down the avenue in town. and they're headed off to lunch. And there's old Dave is the guy driving, and old Paul is sitting in the passenger seat, and they're headed down the avenue. And Paul is sitting there, and he thinks suddenly, he says, "Oh my God, did Dave just run a red light? Well, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I better keep an eye on him." And a minute later, the driver, Dave, runs another red light, and Paul is sitting there thinking, well, I really should say something. I mean, if he does it again, I got to bring it up. And sure enough, a minute later, Dave runs another red light. And finally, Paul says, "Listen, Dave, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you just run 3 red lights." And Dave says, "I'm driving?" So I'm like, Dave wasn't very awake in the moment to what was going on. And that's really, again, what I want to look at today. So I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine, and her name is Tana, T-A-N-A. She always has said it's Tana like Montana. So Tana was a dear friend, known for over 30 years. Her daughter and my son are almost exactly the same age, and we met when those kids were both 6 months old. So, and now our kids are 32. So you get a sense of the arc of time there. And Tana is one of these people who's one of the funniest people you'd ever meet, super talented in art, in writing, all these great skills and talents. However, she never seemed to get her life together. It was like there was, even though she was a genius on so many levels, but never could really just kind of make her life work. Never really had a career she loved, never really made money. She was always kind of dependent on others. And it was sad watching this because she was so brilliant. And, in all these ways. And then as it happened about 5 years ago, it was discovered that she had cancer. And it was treated and it went away. And then a year later it came back and it was treated and it went away. And then a year after that it came back for a third time. At this point the doctor said, "I'm sorry, it's spread too far, there's nothing we can do. This is going to be terminal." And we were all so sad, like, oh my God, Tana. And by this time I didn't live as close to her as I used to, but I did get by and visit at a time which was essentially, turned out it was 8 weeks before she passed. I remember coming in and to visit, and she was in bed, under the blankets, and had a little cat there. There's her new kind of hospice cat. And what I noticed immediately when I came in and saw Tana was that she looked the best she'd ever looked. It's like she was like happy, at peace. There was just this aura of calm and happiness around her. And it's like, and I realized, I feel like all her life she'd been carrying this weight on her shoulder, this kind of expectation maybe everyone had for her, like, she's so brilliant, why isn't she, accomplished? Why isn't she doing something? And I think that finally this was gone. This sense of I have to be something for everybody else, or I have to be this for myself. And she had dropped that emotional weight. And she was the happiest she'd ever been. She was just at peace, just enjoying each moment. And I was really taken with that. And what occurred to me is, why couldn't we all do that? Do we have to be on our deathbed? Do we have to have our death sentence before we can let go and just kind of finally fully exhale? Because that's what she did. And that was just really remarkable to me. And I think it's a lesson to all of us. Really, do we have to wait until it's, we're up against the wall to just let go, to claim our peace, to drop the weight we're carrying? Can we do that right now? Let's take a deep breath. Maybe there's something we need to let go of right now. Can I set down my burden and come back to who I am? Come back to that peace that we are, that spirit we are, that I remember my center self we were singing about. Do we have to be on our deathbed to claim our peace, to let go? So, time did pass. Another 8 weeks passed, and I got a phone call on this afternoon around 5 p.m. that Tana had transitioned. She had passed over. And, we knew it was coming, but it was still this, I found myself mulling and just being with that. And, I don't know if you're like me, but when a friend passes, it's another one of those wake-up calls. Like, remember how precious these moments are. Don't let them slip by. So frequently I found that I'm on automatic. Maybe you are too. Or it's like, oh, I'm not staying awake to these moments. I'm not making them precious. Stay awake. So, and also if you're like me, after about 10 or 12 days, you kind of forget and go back to life as it was, unless it was your spouse or something. But, yesterday we found out that a friend of my wife's, Heidi's friend, passed. And it's like, Heidi didn't know it was coming. It's like, again, that kind of, why are we waiting to do these things we want to do? Don't wait. Why are we waiting? Why are we stalling? Do we need to move forward? Take action. Move forward in our lives with the things that really are meaningful to us. It's another wake-up call. So on the day I got the call that Tana had passed, a few hours later, I was looking at my wife's eyes and Heidi's eyes, and I found myself still pondering, Tana and this passing. And what happened was I had this vision come into my mind, and it was like this point that was moving through space, moving through time. And that point kind of represented the present moment as it moves through time, just, ever moving forward, never stopping. And it was like the image of the bow of the boat cutting through the water. That point right at the bow where it's breaking the water. And that is another representation of just the moment, always going, always moving, that we stay with. And then I began to hear words, a few, like 4 lines of poetry. She said, "Oh, well, that sounds beautiful. Do you want to go write that down before you forget it?" And I think I should. And so I went, and then another 4 lines came after I wrote the first 4, and then another 4 after that. And before long, it was this complete poem. And shortly after that, a complete song. 30 minutes later, it became music. And I want to read it to you. Now, I don't know if you've had this experience. Sometimes, have you ever been at a talent show or something like that, and one person's talent, they're going to stand up and say, "I'm going to read a poem to you all," and you realize, oh my God, it's 12 pages of paper stapled together, and this is going to be a while. Well, this is pretty quick. It's just maybe 5 stanzas, 5 quick ones. So I want to read this to you and just make a few comments about staying awake. We are the bows of our boats, the leading edge of our venture. There's so much down below that you may never see. We are each moment in time, the way we face our future. The one you see in these eyes is not my history. And isn't that true? When we're present, who we're being with is right here. It's not about who we've been, our history, where we've been, but just, can you meet me for who I am right now? And if you feel some weight, it's holding me together, a ballast, to be sure, for when I hit rough seas. And sometimes maybe a part of us feels like we need to hang on to our story to kind of keep us safe in who we think we are, but maybe that's not so true. But that's not who I am, or barely who I was ever. So catch me if you can, in every breath's release, in every moment. Catch me now, here, who I am. And then finally, so may you gleam and may you shine and find your place beyond time. Now, who we are as spirit, it's beyond time and space. Can we find that? And may you know that sweet line that is you and not you, beyond time. And we live in those both worlds, don't we? We are spirit and we are in the physical. So that sweet line where both those aspects of us meet. May we know that. I want to tell you another story, and this is in my childhood. We grew up. I was one of 4 kids, and a friend of ours was in the military, and he was able to get us this military map, which my parents were so happy to have, and it was floor to ceiling, and so they turned it into wallpaper. So in the kitchen area where we always had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we had this wallpaper of a floor-to-ceiling map of the world, and it was fascinating. And we'd get to kind of see where everything is, and we'd play games. You know, my parents would say, okay, kids, who can find Lisbon, Portugal first? And we'd look around, and who can find Perth, Australia? And so we look around and find it, and it was a great way to play games and also get to know just the layout of the whole planet. So I'm telling this as kind of a preamble to the story that happened to me in 1997. Now, you know, I do a lot of flying all over the world with my work, and this particular time was my first time flying to Japan. Now, since then I was fortunate enough to go 2 more times, but this is my first time going, and I was on a nonstop flight from San Francisco to Tokyo. So, you know, I got in my seat on the right hand of the plane, and it was about maybe 8 rows behind the cockpit. It was a coach seat, but it was a 747, that big hump up on top, and so they had me there, and so we took off, and everyone had their shades down because a lot of people wanted to sleep. I wasn't really sleepy yet, but about 2.5 hours into the flight, I found my mind was thinking, wow, I wonder, right about now, I wonder if we're over the Aleutian Islands, because I remember them from that map on the wall as a kid. And so I raised my shade, and there they were. It's like perfect timing. They're stretching out into infinity. It's like, oh, like a string of pearls. Oh my God, so beautiful. And then really quickly, put the shade down. And right after that, a female flight attendant walked up behind me, a Japan Airlines flight attendant, and said, "Sir, would you like to see that from the cockpit?" I'm thinking, well, we never do that in our country, but sure, yeah, that'd be great. And so she said, follow me. So we walked up the 4 rows of seats, and then she got out a key and turned the key in the door and opened the cockpit. And there the pilot and co-pilot were sitting in their seats, and they welcomed me in, and she told them, asked if I could see the Aleutians from even a better view. And they raised the kind of green shades, kind of like sunglasses on the windows, and now I could look in both directions, see the Aleutians going both ways. It's fascinating. Now the cockpit of a 747 is pretty large, larger than you might expect. So there's the captain, the co-captain, and then behind them, triangulated, was a seat in the middle behind them, and there's a nice sheepskin over it. They said, have a seat, and well, thank you. And so we started chatting, and they said, so are you going to Japan on business or pleasure? I said, well, it's my first trip there, so a little bit of both. I'd like to see Japan, but I'm also doing some concerts and workshops. Oh, concerts, what kind of music do you play? Oh, well, and I never know how to describe it. It's like folk music or spiritual, or I said, I'm not sure how to describe it, but you know, my guitar is right outside in the closet. Would you like to hear a song? I said, sure, bring it in. So I reach out, get my guitar out, and close the door again, and pull it out. And here I am sitting on the sheepskin in the 3rd seat. I just start playing. And I had just written a song about 2 weeks before, and I didn't even think about, that's the one that came to mind, so I started playing it, not even realizing how perfect this song was, because the lyrics start out like this. Sometimes I feel like a bird flying over the ocean. I mean, how perfect is that? This is describing their lives, these pilots that fly back and forth over the Pacific. And by the end of the song, I noticed that the co-pilot, he was younger, he turned around, he seemed mesmerized by this whole experience he was going through with the music. By now I'm thinking, I hope this thing's on autopilot, but hopefully it was. And anyway, he looked at me and he said, oh my God, I love that song. I would love my wife to hear that. Are any of your concerts in Tokyo? That's where we live. I said, yes, I do have one in Tokyo. And so I got his contact information. Like a week and a half later, I'm doing my concert in Tokyo. And it's nice, when you're in a foreign country, you can have a translator. So here I am in the concert in Tokyo telling my translator the story of all this thing that happened on that flight on Japan Airlines and just before playing this particular song. And I told that story, and I got to finish with the punchline of, and there on the back row is my Japan Airlines pilot and his wife. And the whole crowd went, ooh, and they loved it. And then I played that song again. And how wonderful, all the things that happened just because I said yes to life. Now, what if when the flight attendant had come up and said, would you like to see it from the cockpit? What if I'd said, oh, no, I don't want to bother you? No. Be awake to what's happening in the present moment, to the opportunities, to the possibilities for joy, for what we can create. I don't want to be a person who's just on automatic or just, no, I don't want to bother you. And no, let's stay awake to what brings us joy. That's what's going to keep us in the present moment, isn't it? If we're off asleep or bored, no, let's bring ourselves here. A dear friend of mine, Alan Cohen, he's a wonderful author. He has a lot of books with Hay House, and his first book was called The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore. He recently wrote one called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. That might draw your attention. One of my favorite titles that he wrote was a book called Joy is My Compass. Joy is my compass. You let joy lead you. Let joy be your North Star. What brings you joy? Because that's going to bring you present. That's going to bring you awake. That's going to make you want to be in these moments and stay awake for them. Who knows where you'll end up? Joy is my compass. You might end up in the cockpit of a 747. It could happen. What brings you joy? And, there's a principle that's happened to me before that I've noticed, and I've decided to name it the pigeonhole principle. And let's see if this is what happens for you too. Maybe you've noticed this. And this has to do with staying awake. Like, have you ever been on a vacation or maybe gone to a week-long retreat, some kind of trip, and maybe it's going to be 7 days or 10 days, and after about 2 days, you turn to someone who's on the same experience with you and you say, oh my gosh, has it only been 2 days? It feels like it's been a week. So much has happened. You know that feeling? Well, I can tell you what's going on. I think I know what it is. Because if we're doing our day-to-day humdrum life, it's like not that many experiences kind of light us up. So think, pigeonholes. Think of like in a mail room. There's all these mail slots. That's another name for those is pigeonholes if you don't know. So there's all these rows, and you might look and maybe there's a letter here and a letter there, and someone put a letter there, an envelope. And if you're living a humdrum life and not much is really piquing your interest or exciting, it's almost like you have only 3 letters. Maybe there's 100 slots and you've only filled 3 of them with a letter. But in that same amount of time, the same space and time, if you're like, I did this, and I did that, and this was fun, and that was fun, and this was fun, like suddenly all your slots are full. It's the same amount of time, but so much, you've been awake for so much more of it. So let's fill our pigeonholes. Let's find ways to have joy in so many more moments. Stay awake. Let joy be your compass. Let joy be your compass. There's a great quote in A Course in Miracles, and this applies. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you need correct. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. Now, if you're feeling separate from God, you're not awake. That's where we wander off. You can't be in connection with God in your mind or in your asleepness. It's when you're awake, right here. This is where connection with God happens. And I love that. I realized this morning the word sense, a sense of separation. We're never really separate, but we lack that sense of it sometimes. We wander off in our awareness. So we have a sense that we're separate until we come back. We were never separate. That never happened. But we can get lost in that sense of separation, that sense of duality, that sense of lack. So we come back to awakeness. Do you remember, many of you have heard this before, So they asked the Buddha, what are you? Are you a master? Are you enlightened? And his response was, I am awake. I am awake. So that's our task, to keep staying awake to the truth of this moment, to keep remembering our center, to keep remembering that bow of the boat cutting through the water. Stay awake to this present moment as we're riding that bow of the boat. And I want to close by singing that song that was first poetry. And so feel free to join in if you catch any of these words. We are the boughs of... No, wrong key, here we go. We are the boughs of our boats, the leading edge of our venture. There's so much down below that you may never see. We are each moment in time, the way we face our future, the one you see in these eyes is not my history. And if you feel some weight, it's holding me together, a ballast to be sure for when I hit rough seas. But that's not who I am, or barely who I was ever. So catch me if you can, in every breath's release. So may you gleam and may you shine and find your place beyond time. May you know that sweet line that is you and not you beyond time. That is you and not you beyond time. That is you and not you beyond time. Thank you for spending this time with me. And I'll hand it back to Reverend Mark. Take it away.
Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Now is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to share our gifts of love. We know that money is simply one more channel for the energy of God's good to flow in and through us. We gratefully accept these generous gifts, blessing gift and giver, without knowing how Spirit uses us to bless this ministry and the world. So we bless the gifts we hold in our hands by affirming together. The activity of Spirit through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And now for the slew of announcements. One thing to note, in several of these announcements, I'll say the details are in the Wednesday email. If you don't get the Wednesday email, but you can get to our website, there's a copy of it there, and the links all work, I checked. So, the core value we celebrate for the month of January is creativity. We are individual expressions of the unlimited life-giving energy of divine mind. With infinite possibilities available, we shape our world and our experience. For prayer support, our ULV prayer chaplains continue to remain active, even though we are not meeting in our sanctuary. Feel free to reach out to your prayer chaplain, and if you're not sure who your chaplain is, please contact the office. Our prayer partners at Silent Unity are available to pray with you. You may call them at 800-NOW-PRAY or go online to silentunity.org to submit your prayer request. And also, Reverend Sandy is available, our interim consultant, for prayer support. Please contact ULV at unitylv.rcn.com, that's the office, to schedule a call. Our gratitudes for today. Thank you, Charley, for this uplifting message and music today. Love those songs. Thank you to Tom Eltringham for attempting to read the Daily Word and being willing, and also for sending in the information for the Wednesday email on our podcast group. Also, thank you to Tom for providing, well, that's the exact same thing. It's on Monday evenings. We'll be talking about that in a minute. Gene Shipe reports that the Zoom and the podcast links make it so easy for anyone considering to join us. Thank you, Alicia Burkhart, for reading the Daily Word last Sunday. And thank you to Eva for being the platform assistant last Sunday. Anthony, for whom I am filling in, reports that he is now home. The surgery went well, and he is working on his recovery. He thanks everyone for their continued prayers. If you're grateful for something about ULV or have something to celebrate, and you'd like to see it in the weekly email, just send a note to the office by Tuesday of each week. Please join us next Sunday, put this on your calendar, February the 7th, as we welcome back Reverend Sandy Butler. We will have our monthly fellowship meeting on Zoom immediately following the service, and the link is in the Wednesday email and on the website. Unity of Lehigh Valley continues to incur routine bills, even while we're not meeting in our sanctuary. Your continued gifts assure the ongoing work that we do and maintaining our building to return to. There is a donate button on the top navigation bar of our website on the right-hand side, where you can pay through PayPal, mail a check directly to ULV, or set up a weekly or monthly payment from your bank. Please contact the office if you have questions on how to get your donation to the church. If you're looking for more connection during this time, Rick Stober continues to hold his daily coherence call on Zoom at 11:30 each morning. Feel free to join once a week, every day, as you desire. Details on how to join are, again, in the weekly email or on the website. We are currently allowing 4 to 5 congregants into the sanctuary for our Sunday services as we transition slowly into reopening ULV. Please see the Wednesday email for further details on how to reserve your seat. A group of us from ULV are participating together in a book and podcast club that meets weekly on Monday nights, tomorrow night. Each week we discuss chapters from a selected book or a podcast. We select content that has a spiritual flavor, and please see the Wednesday email for details on how to join and for the topic of each week. We're inviting congregants to record themselves, and this one is a big new move for us. We really would like you to think about this. Record themselves on their phone reading the daily word. Please contact the office if you would like to participate, and details are in our weekly email. We're trying to have people see more of our congregation during this difficult time. Are you interested in helping with our live stream services? If so, the AV team is looking for volunteers. We are in the process of rebuilding our team. Our team members should be comfortable with a computer and able to respond to internet glitches should they arise, and if you're not, we'll show you how. My slogan for the AV team is, Ask Bill. AV team members will be trained to operate our new camera equipment, the soundboard, and bring speakers in via Zoom platform, as we did Charley this morning, for our Facebook Live service. Please contact the office if you would be interested in joining this very important team. We are also adding to our list of platform assistants. If you're interested in participating as a platform assistant, please contact Karen in the office, or you could call her at 610-965-3036, option 1. We are in the midst of seeking our new and permanent senior minister. Let's join together to affirm our right and perfect minister will appear to us easily. Filled with the spirit of divine love and wisdom, we are guided and directed in our thoughts, our words, and our actions as we move towards the employment of the right minister for the highest good of this ministry, and so it is. Thank you, God. And that, believe it or not, is the end of the announcements. Karen has done a wonderful job in making them more succinct. So now we will, if you virtually think of a person's hand, or if you're at home, someone you can grab your hand, we'll rise and sing our peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. May peace prevail in the hearts and minds of all beings. Have a great week.